Join me today as I dive into looking into those often overlooked areas of your business that are costing you time, energy, and money with my guest, Chelsea Verrette from the Pink Easel. Chelsea and I are going to dive into those things that you've probably dumped into your quote unquote business junk drawer or your milk crate, as she calls it, and you hadn't looked at some of these things in a minute. They can be costing you time right now because there might be things that you don't need to be doing anymore. It could be things that worked at one time, but you haven't looked at them to really evaluate, are they serving you and your energy, your time, and your money, your resources today? Chelsea Verrette is the founder of the Pink Easel. And at the Pink Easel, she collaborates with creatives and entrepreneurs who are wonderfully wired, neurodivergent brains, blending innovative research with practical strategies to build a diverse and inclusive economic landscape. Chelsea is really focused on how do we make this profitable, folks? How do we make this sustainable? And I love the conversation that I have with Chelsea today. Let's get started. Guys, I'm so excited. Chelsea is here. Welcome to the show, Chelsea. We are talking all things creative entrepreneurship, burnout, and avoiding those places in our business that are the biggest obstacles and drains. And I cannot wait to have this juicy, yummy conversation with you today.
I mean, I upfront apologize for asking you to look at the places that you usually avoid, because that sounds like I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry.
Yeah. And you know what? Here's the amazing thing, guys, is Chelsea and I are going to be your guides on this. So it's not going to be that super scary place because we're going to be like right here with you. And here's the other part. We've both had to look into these deep, scary places that we didn't want to look in our business. And it's not fun. It's uncomfortable.
Accurate.
But I also found that, especially when I'm talking about being the energy master and mastering your energy, because we have mastered the crud out of it flowing out. And I guide folks into the energy up level of being the energy master that not only identifies where it's flowing out, but we have all of the things that help us bring it in. And this was a place that not only did I discover, and Chelsea, let me know if you've discovered this in your entrepreneurial journey here. I didn't realize that I had, number one, given my power away because I was afraid to look at some things in my business. Number two, I wasn't aware that I should be taking time and scheduling time to reflect and look back to look at my business in certain areas. And by doing that, I was creating more work for myself going forward, thereby expending more energy. Is this it all resonating?
Cycle, yes. And I think it speaks to, if I can't see it, it doesn't exist. Right?
So, oh my God, object permanence right here.
I did yesterday, so I don't know. I'll probably do it again today if I don't have it. If I don't look back and see what
I can't even remember 5 minutes ago. Did I do that?
Yeah, right. Mm-mm.
Oh my gosh. Like I would get to the end of the day and I'd be like, okay, well, I did a couple of things today. And I was like, that is so not accurate. And I got crazy, like detective one week. And I had a piece of paper and I mean, just old school pen and paper, y'all, I know, right? And I wrote down every single thing that I did. And I was blown away at the end of the week how much I actually did every day that I never paid attention to, that I was like, holy cow, no wonder I was so tired.
Oh yeah. Time studies can be extremely illuminating every time. I mean, I try and do one every couple of months, but on pen and paper. I have all the apps that run the thing, but me and technology, I love it. I'll end up looking at integrations and APIs way down into the rabbit hole. So I got to get a piece of paper. Otherwise, I then have to track the time that I'm using to track the time. But yeah, it's always interesting to see at the end of the time study, you're like, oh, huh.
And as you know, chief energy officer over here at Whittington Wellbeing, I had to be very strategic about where where am I stepping out of my job role?
Mhm.
That was another one.
Yeah.
Whose job am I doing? Is it mine? Is it somebody else's? And if I'm doing somebody else's and I have not hired or created a position for that, this is a place to start looking.
I mean, here's another valuable thought are all of the is all the energy that you're putting out aligned with the values of your business? Because A, do you know the values of your business? And B,
Mm.
are you looking back and going, this time that I'm spending doing this thing is aligned with this value, so it's cool, I'll keep doing it. This thing is not aligned with my values at all, so I'm gonna drop it or give it to someone else. That's an important reflection point too.
Holy heck, yes, it is. I even have my values vision board right here in my office because I check it regularly.
Mine's right there. Right there on the wall. And one of the big things it says is make it up because it's all made up. So just make it up.
That's right. I mean, we are the creators, we are the narrators, right? So,
Yeah.
Chelsea, this is the amazing thing. And guys, in our beautiful way, we're always going in reverse. So, here we go. We're finally getting to the place where I guess everybody else probably would have started. So, Chelsea, in this incredible company that you started called the Pink Easel, I love, love, love that you've created this whole place, this whole entire business to help support creatives and entrepreneurs who have a wonderful wired brains like you and I. And I think that is so amazing because you really talk about changing the financial landscape. Because, when we really look at not just unemployment, but underemployment
Mhm.
rates, this is a really big place because so many of us have found, okay, I actually am an entrepreneur. I do so much better as a consultant. I do my own thing. But then we get into kind of like, I love how you beautifully described this. We have the milk crate full of stuff that we're not sure what to do with. And we just like, okay, I'm not sure. I'm just going to stick it in there. And I call it like the junk, my business junk
Yeah,
drawer.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about what the Pink Easel does, how you help creatives and entrepreneurs kind of utilize the milk crate in a way that's going to help our energy.
Yeah. I mean, the pink easel exists. The easel represents that a lot of times people are saying, oh, we'll give the neurodivergent community their voice, or we'll give the disabled community the voice. The easel is saying we already have our own, so we don't really need yours, but we need a place to use our own, which is the easel. That's what the easel represents. It's a place for you to use all those things you have. And I read the other day that ADHD humans are 300 times more likely to be an entrepreneur. 300. That is insane. Those are crazy numbers. And then, of course, we all know that 85% of autistic adults are underemployed or unemployed. But like there are statistics showing all of these things that we already know, right? So, what the Pink Easel, our big goal is to decrease all of those, to decrease that underemployment, unemployment thing by creating economic equity through entrepreneurship and creativity. Like that's our big goal, big dreams. But the way that that looks in like actual day-to-day practice is hanging with other neurodivergent or otherwise marginalized communities who are doing this entrepreneur creativity thing and are just stuck or overwhelmed or need that kind of what do we do next? And I also don't want to do this alone because it can be very lonely and that's hard.
It really is. And I'll tell you, where where entrepreneurship, I can't talk, it's late in the day, and like being the solo.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is kind of I think it's sort of like my ADHD
Yeah.
approach, and that was, "Okay, I'm gonna figure this out, I'm gonna try it, and I'm gonna do it all by myself because I need, number 1, the autonomy to, like, do it the way I wanna do it,
Yeah.
in the way that feels good for
Yeah.
me, and to not have anybody go, 'Well, that's weird, why you're doing it that way?'"
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because that's usually what
Mm-hmm.
somebody says,
Mm-hmm.
and to be able to do it and process it at a pace and a rate that feels good for me, and,
Mm-hmm.
like, that was where I started, but where things shifted and where things really became scalable and, like, where you will hit this hump and you're like, "Okay, I don't know how to get over this hump because like,
Yeah.
I've plateaued," right? And so I got to that place, it's like, ooh, grow, grow, grow. This was doing really well. And then plateaued and I hit sort of like this hump, this stagnant place. And I was like, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, that's because I'm relying on myself to figure it out. And that was where
Mhm.
I was like, oh, I got to go outside. I got to find
Mhm.
people.
Mhm. Yeah, but there is like one big reason that the Pink Easel was originally created was for myself, right? Like
Don't we always?
I mean,
That's the
I'm an
best part of
entrepreneur,
entrepreneurship.
right? I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a creative, and I probably spent in the first 4 years after COVID shut down my school and blah, 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 10 to 15 grand on coaches and courses and all of these things who were lovely humans, lovely courses, lovely things, but they were not designed for me. And there was often a lot of times, I remember one course I took on marketing and communication, which I'm a strategic communication major by trade. So like I have very specific ideas about how that looks. But this person that was running the course was very specific. You have to do this. You can't do that. You only do this. You never do this. You have to do that. And it just played in my head over and over. Like I couldn't get it out. And I ended up shutting down at the end of the course because it just wasn't for me. And I found myself getting frustrated at how much money I'd spent on all of these beautiful people who said that they could help me do all of these things. And I never felt helped to do all of these things. And I just kept repeating it. And so what it was how do you create a container for that person that's trying to do the thing in their own way? So essentially I created what I did as a classroom teacher, where you're just saying, here, let me give you a container and I will support you and your ideas and the way you do it, instead of saying, here's how I do it and what you should do is what I do and I have all the answers. It's the opposite. And I'm always saying that in our Discord server. Like, I am not the funnel here. You guys are not funneling to me. Like, we do this so that it's dispersed. Like, I am no savior. I don't have the answers. You're welcome. Thanks for hanging out. Like, that's where it goes.
Right. I'm like, okay, I'm a guide and I
Yeah.
have like this methodology that I created and I've like put all the things that work for me, but I also put the stuff that didn't work for me because
Yeah.
that might be the thing that works for you. Because,
Yeah. Yeah.
especially when we're talking about energy and especially when we're talking about like running a business, I had a very similar experience. I have taken so many courses, I have had all
Mhm.
kinds of coaching and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, okay. So I just started like picking the bits that
Yeah.
worked that I liked. And I just started to assemble them and create this way of doing things and this way of being,
Mhm.
right? This really, that was more like, that's why it's called the unveiling method, is because I was uncovering, I was unveiling my best way of being. And
Yeah.
that has been a whole different approach. And I love, love, love how you have sort of this accountability piece, which, a lot of times we hear that word and we immediately like, oh, especially for those of us with a PDA
Yeah.
profile.
Like, nope,
And it's
I'm
just
not
like,
doing that.
oh, no, no. So I mean, it's kind of like it's a touch point. It's a check-in to make sure
Mhm.
that of what you need because that's important, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, kinda. And it's
Just a little
accessible.
bit.
Yeah, those are the important parts. Mhm.
So like when you created the Pink Easel and you took all those experiences that you had that were just like, yeah, that was like trying to make me fit into this box of doing things in a specific way when I really just needed this very open, loose container to play, right?
Right.
To
Yeah.
experiment,
The
to
sandbox mode for
discover.
all my developers out there. Give me a
Right.
sandbox.
And ooh, texture. Ew. No shame.
Sorry, my bad.
God, I love us so much. So what does the Pink Easel do in that container mode? Like, what is that process? What does that process look like for people when they come to work with you? Hey there, we are taking a quick pause so I can share some life-giving info with you for just a sec. Are you tired of feeling tired? Struggling to keep up with your daily task and noticing a decline in your overall well-being? You're not alone. If you're nodding along to these questions, it might be time to take a closer look at what's really going on. Hi, I'm Carole Jean Whittington, burnout researcher, late identified autistic ADHDer with co occurring health conditions, and I'm in year 4 of energy mastery without burnout for their first time in 40 years. I'm here to tell you about a quiz that could change the way you approach your energy levels and well being. Are you experiencing burnout without even realizing it? It happens more often than you think. Picture this: you're waking up after a full night's sleep, but you still feel exhausted. You can't remember the last night you didn't wake up at least twice or spend hours just trying to fall asleep. Tasks that used to be a breeze now seem harder, or you catch yourself avoiding them altogether. And you find yourself withdrawing from the things and people you love. Sound familiar? Take my burnout quiz to uncover the signs and symptoms you might be overlooking. It's the first step to reclaiming your energy and feeling better. Plus, it's completely free and takes just a few minutes to complete. Remember, recognizing burnout is the first step to feeling better. Don't wait until it's too late. Take action now and take back control of your life and energy. You're worth it, my friend.
Yeah. So I think that is what do they call it? The unique identifier, or whatever they call it in business, like what sets you apart. And for the longest time, I couldn't answer that question. I'm like, I don't know, man. We're pink. Like, there's that. I don't really know. But I think I've really kind of found what sets us apart. And what it is this, I'll tell you. Even even a lot of neurodivergent coaches and creatives and all of these beautiful things create very specific, here's what you have to do to be successful. And I don't do well in that at all. And I feel like there are people who do well with that. I don't. And I think there's a lot of people who don't. And so what the Pink Easel kind of creates is I will ask you so many good questions. Right? It's a lot of like, come in, dump everything out. I always call it a milk crate. Like, you dump out your milk crate, because the very first job that I had was literally someone handing me a milk crate full of nonsense and saying, hey, run the school next week. And me going, So I had to literally dump out the milk crate and all the pieces. That's what I say. It's like, we're going to dump out the milk crate. We're going to find all the pieces that already exist, because you're doing more than you think you are. We're going to put all the pieces in order in a way that makes sense to you. If you're a visual learner, if you're, however you engage with that content, however your communication looks like. And then we're going to review it for sustainability and action items. Like, what can you do with this? How can this move you forward? But aside from like, we create a container for you to do the thing instead of me doing the thing, which is important. The other really important part of it is the comeback, right? So like, you do all of those things, you dump it out, we put it in order, you make sure it all works, you're making that progress forward. You're going to be putting things in your milk crate again as you go. It just happens. It's not bad. It's inherently neutral. What is a hard part is when you don't check it again. So where the specialness comes in, right, is either I will teach you how to continuously dump out your milk crate, and we'll do it as a group. I have like sessions where a bunch of us will get together, and like, the session is actually called Dump Out Your Milk Crate. And it's just like, we're going to dump it out. You're going to figure it out, or I'll do it for you, because sometimes that's really hard too. We'll do it together. But I think those are the two pieces. One is, I believe that every neurodivergent human is freaking amazing and doesn't need me to tell them how to do the thing. What they really need is someone to help them figure out how they want to do the thing. Like, step one, that's the big first thing. And then the other big thing that I think sets us apart is this: we're going to boomerang back. Like, I know once you set that over there, it's going to be there and you're probably never going to see it again. But I'm going to come back and you're going to have to deal with me again. So those are like the two big pieces that I think make the Pink Easel a different space. Things that I didn't find when I was looking, therefore I just made it up.
And that is the most beautiful place, because I think that's where the creativity and the innovation comes, is that we're seeking to solve a problem that we have that no one else has given us the resources to solve. And so
Even
we
$15,000
go,
later.
right, exactly. And I love, love, love that you're doing this. So before we started recording, Chelsea and I were also talking about something she and I are both really excited about. So I have a new beta program coming out that's going to be taking the unveiling method and delivering it in a whole new way that is going to be really fun. It's going to be via text message, super short, little bite chunks, 2, 3, 4 minutes max, nothing huge. And Chelsea was like, "Oh, Carole Jean, I actually have amazing text group community that I started doing and was thinking and doing something just like this." And she has one. Chelsea, tell people how they can get connected with you and what is your text community?
Yeah, so it actually started in the middle of a TikTok live because that's where all the best ideas come. And someone was like, "We need this," and I was like, "I could probably do that," and they Googled it, and now here we are. This was about a year ago, but it's essentially like one short, concise, trauma-informed statement that I'm either giving to you or you're making to yourself. As an example, because these are all community sourced. So I'll go out and ask them, like, what statements do you need made? And they'll send them back to me. And one of the first ones was like, stimming is a valid way of expressing myself, right? Like those types of things, or my needs are valid, like from very simple things that you didn't know that you needed in that moment to like larger concepts. And so the gist of it is not all affirmations are created equal. I hate the word affirmations. I feel like it's a big turnoff when you say affirmations or mantras, right? They're like, no, I don't need that. But these focus on trauma informed, and they also focus on us specifically, like the specific things that we focus. And they're text messages because I'm here to help you and keep you out of the Instagram scroll of doom. Like they pop up, you read it, you put it away. It's simple. And yeah, so that's kind of, I really enjoy that bit. And then they pop up on my phone because I'll schedule them. And then they'll pop on my phone and I'm like, oh, that was really good. I wrote that. Heck yeah.
That's so fun. I love that. That's even better. That is a dopamine hit, y'all.
Right?
That kind of thing goes in the super sparkly fun idea file.
Yeah, totally. And it's even better when I put like the thing where it'll use your name and it'll say, Chelsea, your needs are valid. And I'm like, whoa.
That is power right there in the palm of your hand and not
Right? Mhm.
the doom scrolling or the inbox that has become like the thing I just,
I
please don't
know.
put more stuff in my inbox. I'm trying to really shift and be so respectful of people's inboxes and still be able to like share things that are actually valuable that people want to
Mhm.
open. So when they do see it, they're like, "Oh, yay. Carole
Yeah.
Jean sent me something," and you open it, right? I want
Yeah, I probably have 2, maybe 3 people in my inbox that I'll go, "Ooh, this is from this person," and I open it. Otherwise, I'm like, "I don't know, man."
exactly. Or it's just like the next thing you know, you're cleaning it out and you're just clicking delete
Mhm.
and you don't
Yeah,
even. And I'm just like, I know somebody put a lot of effort into that, but it just, there's just
yeah,
too much of it. There's
there's too
just too
much.
much. There is. And you know what? You probably might be like I was, and I'm still doing this. So I can't say that I'm not doing this anymore, but I do get stuff in my milk crate. And I
Yeah.
love that Chelsea has created the Pink Easel as a place to go in and be able to like repeatedly and consistently check in with your milk crate of stuff to keep you moving in the direction that you want to go in the way that best serves you in your business. So be sure you check out the Pink Easel. We have all of the contact information down in the show notes below. Sign up for that text community because I'm telling you, if you are loving what Chelsea was just sharing and you want a little bit of that in your palm of your hand, in your text messages, and not like the inbox and all the stuff,
Yeah.
go get it. Go get it. Chelsea, is there one thing that you would like to share with everybody before we wrap up today that is like the one thing today, if somebody's feeling stuck, if they were like, I don't even know where to dump my milk crate, it's got so much stuff in it, I don't even know what's there. What's the one thing that you would like them to know to kind of move forward, to be able to start the process?
I think is that it's neutral. Like it's not a negative thing or a positive thing. It is just a thing. Like it just exists. If you have a lot or nothing in your milk crate, it doesn't make one more or less valuable than the other. I think that's the starting point. It is neutral. And what you do with it
It
next
is what it is.
is fine. But there is no, like, it's not bad to have a lot of things or good to have no things or whatever. It's neutral.
I love that. Oh my gosh. Now I'm going to add to that one because it's so good. The other thing that I do on this one, because that's, oh my gosh, where were you? Where were you a couple years ago when I needed to hear that? The other part is you don't have to.
Yeah.
You don't have to do anything. You don't have to do it the way somebody else does it. And you don't actually have to do anything. You get to, or you can choose to. And you choose not to.
Oh yeah. Oh, heck yeah. Like, I'll be on a
That's
coaching call
no
with
is
someone
one word.
and I'm like, hey, let's do this. And they're like, I'm not doing that. I'm like, all right, well, what's your next step? What do you want to do next? And I think that's a freedom thing, is you are a complete autonomous human. I know. Shocking.
And go play. And if you have a milk crate and you want to have some flow and some help and like this incredible gift that Chelsea is, go check out the Pink Easel. Guys, thanks for being here today. Thanks for joining us here in this conversation around entrepreneurship, our energy, and all the places that we have not yet peaked to get moving in a different direction that might be of more service or get you to the next place that you want to go. Take care. Talk to you next time.